What's the biggest promise you made that actually broke you? I promised my dad on his porch the night before I left for college that I would never put him in a nursing home. He was sitting in his old wooden chair, beer in hand, looking smaller than I remembered. Mom had left us when I was 12, just walked out one Tuesday morning with 2 suitcases and never looked back. Dad raised me alone after that, working double shifts at the factory and never missing a single one of my baseball games. That promise felt like the least I could do for the man who gave up everything for me. Dad started forgetting things when I was 25, small stuff at first. He'd call me 3 times asking what day it was or leave the milk on the counter overnight. I figured it was just stress from retirement. But then he got lost driving to the grocery store he'd been going to for 15 years. That's when the doctor said Alzheimer's. I moved back home immediately, juggling 2 jobs to pay for his medication and keep us afloat. When I married Ashley 2 years later, she tried her best to help. She'd make his favorite meatloaf every Sunday and patiently remind him who she was when he forgot. But things got worse fast. Dad would wander outside at 3 in the morning looking for his car keys, thinking he was late for work at a job he'd left years ago. Sometimes he'd forget how to use the bathroom, and Ashley would find him confused and crying in the hallway. The stress was killing our marriage before it even started. When our baby Jordan was born, I thought maybe having a grandchild would help Dad remember something, anything. Instead, it made everything harder. Dad thought strangers were breaking into our house when Jordan cried at night. He'd get angry and confused, sometimes aggressive. Ashley started sleeping with Jordan in the guest room because she was scared. One morning I found Dad trying to feed the baby coffee because he thought Jordan was me as a kid. The breaking point came on a Tuesday night last month. I was at work. Ashley was giving Jordan a bath upstairs. Dad had been having a good day, seemed more like himself. When I got home, the kitchen was full of smoke. Dad had put a pot on the stove and forgotten about it. The bottom was completely burned through, and if Ashley hadn't come downstairs when she did, the whole house could have gone up. Dad was sitting at the kitchen table reading a newspaper from 2003, completely unaware. That night, Ashley sat me down after Jordan was asleep. She was crying, which she never did. She begged me to consider a memory care facility. She'd already researched places, found one 20 minutes away with good reviews and accepting Dad's insurance. I lost it, started yelling about broken promises and how she didn't understand what my dad meant to me. She just sat there taking it, then quietly said she couldn't live in fear that our baby might get hurt. I fought her for 3 more weeks. Dad got worse. He stopped recognizing me most days, kept calling me by my uncle's name. One morning he looked at Jordan and asked Ashley why she brought a stranger's baby into his house. He seemed genuinely frightened, like this 8-month-old was some kind of threat. That's when I knew Ashley was right, but I still couldn't do it. The facility was nicer than I expected. Clean white walls, friendly nurses who actually seemed to care. Dad's room had a big window facing a garden. When we moved him in last Wednesday, he didn't fight it or ask questions. He just sat on the bed looking confused while I unpacked his clothes. The hardest part was hanging up the photo of us at my high school graduation. In the picture, he's grinning like he just won the lottery. I avoided visiting for 2 weeks because I felt like the worst son alive. I'd broken the one promise that mattered most, but yesterday Ashley practically dragged me there, said I was being selfish hiding at home. When I walked into Dad's room, he was sitting by the window. He looked up and smiled, not the confused smile he'd been giving everyone, but a real one. "Hey kiddo," he said, like no time had passed at all. A nurse named Patricia pulled me aside before I left. She said Dad had been calmer since arriving, less frightened and agitated. There was always someone there when he got confused, always someone to redirect him when he wandered. For the first time in months, he was sleeping through the night.